Hello everyone, I hope all of you are safe and doing well. Today we begin the lecture series on carbohydrates. This is the first lecture. Here we will discuss about the basics of carbohydrates, where we will cover the function and general properties of carbohydrates, their nomenclature and classification, the stereochemistry of carbohydrates, and certain terminologies related to the stereochemistry will also be discussed, and we will also look at different projection formulas of carbohydrates at the end.
Now we looked at the Fischer projection and Haworth projection formula of glucose. There are two other forms that are possible in case of the different projection formula. They are Boat conformation and chair conformation, because there's glucose or the glucopyranose has the 6-member ring. So Boat and chair both are possible. But the Boat conformation, in case of the Boat conformation, there could be steric crowding between the axial substituents if they are bulky. So if hydroxyl groups are there, there could be some steric crowding. That's why Boat conformation is the less stable form as compared to the chair conformation, right? And in case of chair conformation, two types of groups are possible, equatorial and axial, right? So in case of, so it is represented in this way. Now the Haworth projection formula of glucose has been converted to the chair conformation, where in C1, if the OH group is at the bottom, it is alpha glucopyranose. So this is same as Haworth projection. In Haworth projection also OH group was at the bottom. So here bottom means at C1 the orientation is such that the OH group at the bottom means the OH group should be axial, and in case of beta D glucopyranose or beta glucopyranose, the OH group will be at the top. So here it will be the equatorial position. Now this, you can note that in case of the beta form, all the OH groups are positioned equatorially. That is in C1, C2, C3 and C4, all of them are placed equatorially. Even if you consider C5, the CH2OH is placed equatorially. And you must have studied this, that when the bulky groups are placed equatorially in a chair form, the compound or that particular form is more stable. So in solution, beta glucopyranose is found in higher extent, or beta glucopyranose is more stable than alpha glucopyranose. Okay. Now let's come to neutral rotation. You must have heard about it. Now since you have the idea about open chain and cyclic structure of monosaccharides, and you know what are anomers, you will be understanding what is neutral rotation. So what happens when dissolved in an aqueous solution, the different anomers of a monosaccharide can interconvert due to transient formation of the open chain form. So the monosaccharides had open chain form, and they can have the cyclic anomeric forms. So there could be an interconversion of the two anomeric forms through the formation of the open chain form. Okay. This happens when it is dissolved in aqueous solution or some amphiprotic solution. Why? You will understand in the coming slide. Now this process or this phenomena leads to change in the specific rotation of the substance in solution. So initially one anomer was dissolved in the solution. It is undergoing interconversion to the other anomer. Actually it will generate a mixture of both the anomers through the formation of the open chain, and the specific rotation of one anomer is different from the specific rotation of the other anomer. So when this happens, the specific rotation is changed. Okay, this change in specific rotation is called mutarotation, that is change in rotation. All reducing sugars except for a few ketones show mutarotation in amphiprotic solvents. What are amphiprotic solvents? They are the solvents which can generate proton and which can take up proton. Water is an amphiprotic solvent because water can give H plus, and the OH minus in water can also take up proton, right? Another amphiprotic solvent could be acetic acid. So CH3CO minus can take up the proton, and acetic acid obviously can generate H plus, right? So this phenomena happens in case of amphiprotic solvents. So let's look at the example. let's say you have prepared a glucose solution in aqueous medium or in water, and the freshly prepared solution, if you take the if you record the optical rotation immediately, you will find that the specific rotation is plus 111 degree. Now after time t, if you keep the solution to stand, we will find that the glucose solution has specific rotation of plus 52.5 degree. So it has, this specific rotation was changing with time, and after a certain time this specific rotation value is obtained, and it is fixed on this specific rotation value of plus 52.5 degree. So whatever interchange was to happen has happened in this point of time. Now if you heat the solution, this phenomena will happen, and this will happen quicker than if you do not heat it. Okay. You can also achieve this phenomena by adding some acid or base catalyst. So T1 and T2 will be less than T. So you will achieve this change in specific rotation or the Noether rotation faster if you add acid or base catalyst to the solution, or if you heat it. Okay. So Noether rotation is possible only in case of cyclic structure, because you have to have anomers, and anomers are also possible in case of cyclic structure. There is no anomers in case of any open chain form of any monosaccharide. So it is possible in case of cyclic structure. The ratio of the two forms present in the solution is determined by their relative stability. So in case of glucose or D-glucose, the beta anomer is more stable, where the OH group at anomeric carbon is in equatorial position, as compared to the alpha anomer, where the OH was in axial position, we just discussed, right? So in case of the solution of glucose, ultimately the percentage of beta anomer will be higher. So what will happen in case of Noether rotation? From alpha D glucose, it will convert to beta D glucose through formation of this open chain D glucose, right? It can, and this is an equilibrium sign. So it can also happen that if you form a solution of beta D glucose, which will have a certain value of specific rotation, it will convert to the open chain form, and it will again convert to the alpha D glucose. So there will be a certain ratio of the two forms. Both forms will be present, but at particular ratio, which will be different for different monosaccharides. The ratio for the alpha and beta form in case of glucose will be different from that of the galactose or ribose or any other monosaccharide, so to speak. Okay. The well accepted view is that the monosaccharides in solution exist as an equilibrium mixture of alpha and beta anomeric pyranoses, a small amount of the open chain form, and very small amounts of the alpha and beta anomeric furanoses. So these are the cases in case of pyranosis, that is the 6-membered rings. So mostly the 6-membered rings are prevalent. There are some open chain form also, and very slight amount of alpha and beta furanoses. Okay, but this is not the case in case of fructose. You should remember that. This we are talking about glucose or some other aldohexoses. So in case of alpha D glucose solution, the specific rotation is plus 111 degrees. So the example we discussed in the previous slide had the specific rotation of plus 111 degrees. So that should tell you that I took one alpha D glucose or the alpha anomeric form of glucose while preparing the solution. Beta D glucose solution will have a specific rotation value, that is alpha D. This alpha is the is indicating the optical rotation, and you should not be confusing this with the alpha or beta anomer, right? So beta D glucose has the specific rotation value of plus 19.2 degree. If you dissolve any of them in aqueous solvent, or let's say a mixture of them in aqueous solvent, the final specific rotation value you will get will always be plus 52.5 degrees, and this value will remain constant for a long time. And this value corresponds to the presence of roughly about 36% of the alpha anomer and 64% of beta anomer in the mixture. So the open chain form and the alpha and beta anomeric furanoses will be very low as compared to this anomeric pyranosis form, right? So what is the mechanism of mutual rotation? Why does it take place from one anomer to the formation of the open chain form, then to the other anomer? Why does it happen? So, and it happens in case of the amphiprotic solvent. So it has some role to play. So what happens is that attack at the C1OH. So that means the anomeric center. Attack is happening only at the anomeric center of the cyclic anomers by base and acid produces the open chain structure which recloses again to the other anomeric form. So if you look at this example, so B is the base and HA is the acid. So base can abstract the hydrogen of the hydroxyl group at C1, that is the anomeric carbon, which will lead to formation of the open chain form, and it will again reclose back to the other anomeric form, this anomeric form, right? And you can notice that now the orientation of hydrogen and hydroxyl group are different from the first one, right? And if you start with the this form, the third structure, you will again get the open chain form and the first structure, that is the other anomer. So the ordinary form of D-glucose is the alpha anomer. However, in solution the beta anomer is more stable, which is why you get a higher percentage of beta anomer in the solution. Reactions of, okay, this is one important thing we will be discussing in the next class. That is reactions of glucose, the common reactions, oxidation, reduction, derivatization, etc. involves the open chain form, although its percentage in the solution is negligible as compared to the cyclic alpha and beta anomers. But you should keep this in mind that the open chain form is usually the form that takes part in the reaction. Okay. Now, what are epimers? Now we know about anomers, mutual rotation, which are two important things. Uh, so, what are then anomers? What are epimers then? So, carbohydrates that differ in their stereochemistry at one position only are called epimers. So, rest of the things should be same. They should have the same structural formula, the same stereochemistry at all other positions or all other carbon atoms, same substituents, but the stereochemistry will be different at only one position. For example, D-glucose and D-mannose. If you look at the structure, the structural formula is same. Both are aldohexose, right? And all the chiral centers except for C2 have the same orientation or same placement of OH and H. Only C2 is differing. So they are called epimers at C2 or C2 epimers. So D-glucose and D-mannose are C2 epimers. Another example is D-glucose and D-galactose. Everything is same including the structural formula, but the difference is only at the stereocenter, one stereocenter, which is C4 in this case, right? Rest of them are same. So they are C4 epimers. Now can you tell me whether we can consider D-mannose and D-galactose as epimers? Okay, this is another question that you should be looking at, that whether we can consider D-glucose and D-fructose as epimers.